What up, YouTube Elleix? Coming back at you with another custom StarCraft 2 cast. Now today, it is an exciting day. We are casting the first game of the Custom Scion Races Tournament. You heard me correctly. We have a Custom Scion Races Tournament to be casting. It is going to be a fun few weeks on my channel. We have a lot of games to go through. Now, the format will go as follows. We have the group stage format, which has, I think, 5 players in each bracket. We have Group A, B, C, and D, and the top 4 players in each bracket will be advancing to the final stage, which will be a single elimination format. The first games will be a best-of-3 series, the semi and quarterfinals are a best-of-5 series, and the finals are a best-of-7 series, so it is going to be insane. Now, this game in particular is from Group A in the group stage series. This is game number 1. It's a best-of-3 series, but what I think I'm going to do moving forward is cast the final stage series just because they are a bit more organized and it would be a lot easier to talk about it just because this tournament has already concluded. So we might do that going forward, but I have not decided yet. Now, back to the show. Spawning on the top left-hand side of the map, it's our red Xayid player Quoror going up against his opponent. Spawning on the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's our orange Genetron player StormiNormin. Now, fun story about this name. There is a chairlift at a ski resort I used to regular called StormiNormin. It was a super sick chairlift. I've not gone in a few years, and I sprained my ankle going down one of the runs. I took a jump, and it was bad. I sprained my ankle, and I had to get taken down on a sled. It was not a good time, but anyway, back to the show. We have what is going to be expansions coming down for both of our players. We had what was a little bit of harassment attempted on the worker rowing down that feeding pool. Now, if you're not familiar with the Xayid, the feeding pool is basically, I want to say, a supply depot that also heals units. As Loco said, fun fact, Loco did do a cast of one of these games, or one of these series, I should say. He called this like a moonwell, which is such a good way to describe the feeding pool. Now, we also have a mutagen chamber coming down, and we have a Xayid den coming down. Now, the mutagen chamber will allow for some upgrades, and I believe some tech as well. We already have one of the Xayid dens down. We have what are going to be, I believe, roamers coming out of this Xayid den. We have 3 on the way. Taking a look at what our orange Genetron player is doing, we have 1 Spitfire down already, but we don't have any other army units on the way. We have this 1 Spitfire right here chilling at the natural base location. Taking a look at our units as well, we have what are 27 workers to 26, now 27 to 27, so both players pretty even on the workers. No surprise there. They both expanded at roughly the same time, and we have 3 roamers to what is going to be 2 Spitfires. So these roamers may actually do quite a bit of damage. Taking a look at the production tab, we have 2 more Spitfires on the way. One of the Spitfires actually finished, and we have what is the Scour ability, so this will give some scouting information for Quoror, and he's running right in. He did not waste a second. He's like, there is nothing right here. I am going to go in for the kill. One of the Spitfires goes down. The second Spitfire goes down, and now StormiNormin is in a little bit of a situation right here. Losing, I think that was 2 workers, so 3 workers going down, killed by Quoror. StormiNormin losing a 4th worker as well. We have a 4th roamer on the field, and now StormiNormin will likely lose this expansion. But I've said it in many of my casts, what I like to do in this kind of situation is sacrifice my natural base. I use it to bide my time in my main base so I can hope to at least defend. But just as I said it, StormiNormin getting rushed by these roamers. Quoror not wasting a second. StormiNormin even saying, thought I had more time. Getting the surround on these roamers, though. These 4 roamers do go down. We have 2 more in the main base, taking out 1 more worker. 7 workers going down this game. We have now 8 workers, 9 workers going down, 10 workers going down. You know what? I'm just going to leave this workers kill tab open. Okay, no, now I'm not. Quoror deciding to retreat, but doing quite a bit of damage. What I would do at this point is just keep attacking the processing core, which is the command center equivalent for the Genetron. For those of you who are not familiar with the custom Scion Races mod, these roamers are still chilling. They will be able to use that scour ability in the main base to see what is going on. We do have the Fixers, one of my favorite Genetron units. It's basically a medic that also does damage. We have the scour coming into the main base once again. At the same time, even though he's not attacking the processing core, just as I said it now, of course he is, he did have it locked down pretty well. It was not mining for virtually that entire engagement. This processing core will go down. We have now, what is this? How many units? We have 8 roamers on the field to 3 fixers and 3 Spitfires. So 8 army units to 6 army units. These fixers focusing more on doing damage than healing and actually chasing away the red Xayid army. But behind this, Quoror is expanding into a third base. The third base is actually already down just about now. It does have 5 workers on it at the moment, so not quite saturated, just about halfway saturated. 8 workers out of 16. We have these roamers running away. What I would do is maybe leave 1 roamer and just use it for scouting until I decided it was time to leave or time to attack. That's what I might do in Quoror's shoes. Now we do have what is a decent sized army for StormiNormin. Army supply is virtually even. It is actually, it's identical. It's 30 to 30, so not virtually. It is literally identical, but the worker supply is way in favor of Quoror. 51, now 54 workers to 22. So StormiNormin has to do some damage to retaliate behind this if he wants to stay in this first game of the best of 3. And here we go. We have what are the Spitters in the back. They have quite a bit of AoE damage, as we can see. The Orange Army getting pushed back, but actually doing quite a bit more damage than I expected to the red Xayid army. Taking a look at the army supply, it's now 26 to 22. Taking a look at the resources lost, virtually identical, 2250 to 2400. So a slight deficit for StormiNormin, but not that bad. My only concern at this point in the game is the fact that he is still on 1 base. He's just now throwing down his processing core. He's doing a great job at macroing, all things considered, but man, I'm trying to think what I would do if I were StormiNormin in this situation. Keep in mind, they are playing for moolah. They are playing for money. So Stormin isn't going to leave this game easy. What I might do in this situation is double expand and just pray. I think that's what I would do. I mean, I understand StormiNormin trying to go for the damage, but at this point in the game, your opponent is going to be way, way ahead in economy. So what you want to do is catch up in economy and then maybe make an army that can sustain against the red Xayid army. I'm really trying to think. I think that's what I would do. I mean, this processing core is not even finished. It's just 3/4 of the way done, and we have what is going to be a 4th base coming down for Quoror. So Quoror is going to be 3 bases ahead of his opponent. And I mean, look at this, 72 workers to 22. So Stormin may be going down this round. We shall see. We have what is going to be a relatively big engagement in the middle of the map. The red army taking out the orange Genetron army. StormiNormin throwing out the GG, giving the first victory to Quoror. We shall see you guys on game number 2. Alright guys, welcome to game number 2 of our best of 3 series. Spawning on the bottom right hand side of the map, it's our red Xayid player Quoror going up against his opponent. Spawning on the bottom left hand side of the map, I almost said top left hand side of the map, it's the bottom left hand side of the map, it's our orange Genetron player StormiNormin. Now Quoror did win the first round, so we will see if Quoror wins this round. That will conclude this best of 3 series, but if StormiNormin wins, we will be pushed into game number 3, so we'll see how this goes. Now, I forgot to tell you the prize pool. So, for the group stage series, not everybody will win money. Only people advancing to the final stage. Now, there are going to be 16 players in the final stage. 9 through 16 is going to win 25 bucks. 5th through 8th place is going to win 50 bucks. Fourth place is 125 bucks. 3rd place is 150 bucks. Second place is 225, and first place is a whopping 400 bucks. So there is real money on the line. Both players are throwing down some scouts. It looks like StormiNormin is actually going for the earlier expansion. What is Quoror up to? He's not expanding yet. Now he's expanding, but the expansion went down, I want to say, a little bit later. So we have the first expansion coming down, not quite halfway done, but almost halfway done, and Quoror is just now throwing down his expansion. Taking a look at the production tab, we have what is going to be the Xayid Den already finished. We have what is also going to be, what is it? So we don't have anything else. We just have the expansion, and we have the Xayid Den, and that's it. Why do I feel like Quoror is trying to do something all-in-y? Now, because this is a tournament with real money on the line, I would expect to see all kinds of plays. I'd expect to see some dirty StarCraft 2 along with some clean StarCraft 2 plays. I wish I could have cast this live, but this was done, I believe, in Australia time. So it was my witching hours. I live in Central America time, so I would have had to, I think I was gonna have to be awake at like 4 or 5 a.m. and I have a full-time job, you guys. I work basically a lot of overtime as well. That is just about as much as I'm allowed to say about my job. Very mysterious, I know. Go ahead and let your conspiracy theorist imaginations run wild. Taking a look at what's happening in this game, I've been rambling. We do have what is going to be a wall off at the natural base location for our red Xayid player. We have the mutagen chamber already finished. We have a Xayid Den being built as well. So this looks very reminiscent of what Quoror played last game, which makes sense because it did win him the last game. So he may be going for more of an aggressive 2-base macro kind of play style. It was almost like a 2-base all-in, but not quite, especially because I want to say at around 7 or 8 minutes, he was already up to 4 or 5 bases. So he was playing really, really well, really macro heavy, but aggressive at the same time, which is a lot of how the Xayid operates. They do play... they do have a lot of strength playing in the early and mid game, I want to say. Now, we have the roamers already finished. I think, okay, here we go. Quoror is waiting for that fourth roamer, and he is going for the kill. He is going to the orange Genetron side of the map. We'll see if he does the same thing. He'll probably throw out some scours and run in immediately. Taking a look at what is coming down for StormiNormin, though. Okay, both of these Spitfires unfortunately going down. I think they were on move command, actually. StormiNormin running away, but he does have the Hornet, and I don't think the roamers shoot up, so this Hornet will be able to do a lot of damage. We have another Hornet on the way along with a Blitzer. So these roamers going to try and do as much damage as their time allows, but they will ultimately go down. We have 2 more roamers in the natural base, though. How many workers went down? 10 workers killed by our red Xayid players. So really, those 4 roamers were definitely worth it. Taking a look at the worker supply, it's 24 workers to 41 in favor of Quoror. Army supply is 13 to 3 in favor of Quoror. Honestly, if Quoror just pushed out all out right now, he might be able to win. The only concern is those Hornets. So Quoror needs some sort of anti-air to deal with this. What is he building? He is building, I don't recognize this unit. What is that? Oh, it's a Mendling. Okay, so the Mendling is a caster and a healer for the Xayid, as far as I know, as the name would suggest, Mendling, but we do not see the Mendling too often, honestly, and we have what are going to be more roamers on the way. These are all, okay, never mind, we have a couple Xayidlings as well, and we have what is going to be a sneaky base at the high saturation minerals. So the rich mineral field will start to get mined by our red Xayid player. At the same time, we have the Hornets coming in to try and get some vengeance for losing so many workers in that earlier engagement. We have now what is 4 workers killed by the orange to now what is going to be 14, now 15 workers killed by our red Xayid player. So this game is getting crazy, you guys. I literally have not stopped talking for so long. I feel like my voice is already trying to leave me. These Hornets, though, doing a ton of work, not only scouting, but also, okay, not a ton of work yet, but potentially a ton of work. They have a lot of potential, okay, you guys? Now, we have what was 18 units killed by our red Xayid player to 11 killed by our orange Genetron player. These Hornets are doing a ton of damage, but ultimately will get chased away. These Mendlings, as far as I know, do shoot up. So These Hornets running away, but we have what is going to be the scavenger nest at the rich mineral field. Already finished, but it is not going to be saturated, looks like anytime soon. It is rallied to, I want to say, the natural base location, but just as I said it, Quoror likes to prove me wrong, you guys. He's like, oh, you thought this wasn't going to be saturated anytime soon? Okay, I'm going to pull 12 workers and saturate it immediately, which is what I would do. I mean, you have what are going to be high-yield minerals. You may as well saturate that ASAP. Taking a look at the worker supply, it's not crazy different now, not nearly as bad as the first game. It is 47 workers to 33 versus what was, I want to say, like almost 70 workers to 22 or something in our first game. So we'll see. StormiNormin is still in this series. He is not losing yet. He is throwing down a third base as well. So this is a great play by StormiNormin. He has to start expanding. He has to think about his economy, especially after the last game. He wants to make sure that he can keep up with the red Xayid player. We have some of the roamers here running around as well. I wonder if these are going to be used for scouting purposes. These are definitely not going to be used for any sort of meaningful push. And we have what is going to be a lot of Hornets. How many Hornets is that? That is going to be 6 Hornets flying towards, okay, for a second, flying towards the main base of the red Xayid player, but deciding to stay back home. Quoror doing a great job at keeping some map control, making sure there's no sneaky bases on the field. Quoror happily mining these high-yield minerals. I don't think StormiNormin actually is even a little bit aware about his situation right now in terms of the economy. We have what is going to be a big push, though. Taking a look at the army supply, 52 army supply to 23. So Quoror doing a great job at macroing. And fun fact about Quoror, he is the brother of Solstice, who is the developer of this mod. It's actually a group of 3 brothers, as far as I know, that are part of the Scion Custom Races family. 2 of them are developers for this mod. Solstice, and I can't remember the other one's name. Solstice, please leave a comment down below of your brother's name if you want to give him some credit for the Custom Scion Races mod. But if he wants to stay anonymous, that is totally fair. And here we go. We had a little bit of harassment with those 3 roamers. How many workers went down? So 24 workers going down total this game. Taking a look at the army supply, though, 35 army supply to 66. Honestly, I think Quoror could probably push out and win, but to be fair, he doesn't realize the army supply. We have all-knowing knowledge. We have full map coverage, but keep in mind, obviously, Quoror does not see what the supply is for his opponent. And we also have the fixers. I said it in the first game, but these guys are one of my favorite Genetron units just because they're a medic that also has offensive capabilities. In my last cast, we actually had a fixer that had 13 kills. We named him Steve. He survived for a very long time. I'll link it in the top right-hand corner of this video. It was a super sick game. One of my most epic games. Oh, okay, you guys. We also have the Courier. So the Courier is... it's a cloaked dropship. It is so cool. So we'll see. We'll see if... okay, so he's dropping... okay, here's what I would do in this situation. I mean, never mind. There's a bile pit here, so never mind. The bile pit does give some detection, as we can see right here. So what I was going to say is fly this Courier into the top of the minerals in the main base and then do some damage, but because of that bile pit, it was actually a better call to drop in the corner of the map. We do have these Spitfires getting some scouting information, but at the same time, we have what is going to be a really big push at the third base location for StormiNormin. StormiNormin will likely lose his third base. Taking a look at the workers killed, still 24 workers killed this game by our red Xayid player. The third base going down, and now the second base, the natural base, in jeopardy. But it looks like Quoror going for the checkup on the fourth base location as well. Now pushing into the natural base. StormiNormin throwing out the GG. Quoror throwing out the GG, giving the victory to Quoror. StormiNormin giving the victory to Quoror, and Quoror winning the series. It was a super fun Custom Scion Races cast, the first of many for this tournament. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email and Discord in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.